Hi guys, my name's Sylvie Hall and I am on the social media team here at Invoice to Go. And tonight we're doing a masterclass on Instagram marketing tips and tricks and basically how to grow your business on Instagram. So we've got a series of masterclasses coming up over the next few months to basically help you grow your business and also just make the most out of the Invoice to Go app as well. So one of the most requested things that we did actually have was about Instagram marketing. So today is that day where I'm going to go through some Instagram marketing tips that I've picked up over the years. I have over 8 years experience in social media marketing. So that's a bit about my kind of background and experience for you. And I'm going to share some of my best tips for how to grow your business and get a bigger following and improve the content that you have. So I'll run through a bit of a kind of presentation that I'll share with you. If you can't see the screen very well, then what I will make sure to do is to email you guys the presentation afterwards so that you can see it as well for yourself on your computer screen. And any tips that you want, you can also email me as well. I am also going to be taking questions. So if you do have questions, then please drop them as a comment and I'll be happy to answer them. I'll probably wait until the end to answer them. But if you have a question that pops into your mind throughout this, then feel free to leave me a comment. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. So Instagram marketing, and especially today we're focusing on for trades professionals because there's a lot on the internet about Instagram marketing and what you can do for businesses, but there's not a lot of information for trades professionals like electricians and plumbers and how you can use Instagram for your business. So today is kind of a session that's going to introduce you to Instagram marketing, why you should do it, maybe why you shouldn't do it, and some kind of examples of what looks good and what's not so good. So why should you do Instagram marketing? So I think one of the kind of first things is that it's a great place for you to actually showcase your work. And it's a really easy reference point for any potential customers that you have to see what you do, what you offer. And if you don't have a website, then this is a really free and easy tool for you to actually maintain yourself and to have set up. It's a great promotional tool that a lot of your audience spend a huge amount of their time on. So the last data that we found was that people spend 40 minutes a day on average scrolling Instagram. So if you can get people's eyes on your content and your business, it's a really great way to promote what you're doing and what you're up to. The Instagram bio also hosts a lot of your key contact information. So of course, like your website address or your email, people can call direct. If you have a business account on Instagram and people find you, they can very easily contact you from their mobile. And that is obviously very valuable for a small business. Instagram's also great if you can post regular visual content. So obviously Instagram, unlike Facebook, is all about images and then the caption is secondary, but images, video, that kind of content is the thing that people want to see the most. So if you've got that kind of content, then it's great to actually post that on Instagram. It's also a way for you to interact with your community and your customers and really get a really good kind of rapport going with people. They can see who you are and trust you and learn to trust you as a person. So obviously one of the biggest problems that people have with trades professionals is this issue of trust, like can they trust you and do they know that you're doing a good job and that you're charging them the right price? So by having a good Instagram account that is, you know, showing your personality, showing your past work, people can then see who you are and that you're a genuine person and that they can actually trust you. So it's a really great tool for this. But skipped ahead. There's also an argument for why you shouldn't do Instagram marketing. So the number one thing is maybe you just don't want to do it. And in that case, that's fair enough. It might just not be for you. You don't want to post on Instagram, in which case, do your marketing in other ways and other things that you prefer. But if you do want to get into Instagram, then you should definitely listen on. And if you don't want to do it, maybe just keep watching anyway, because maybe I'll change your mind. Another reason why you maybe shouldn't do Instagram marketing is that any work you do isn't aesthetic or visual at all, and you wouldn't want to take pictures of it or show a before and after, so you just don't feel like it's something that people would want to follow. Or maybe you just don't have time to post regularly. So I'd recommend at least once a week on Instagram. Maybe you just don't have the time to do that and you'll just leave it by the wayside. It's great to actually post on Instagram more often than once a week, because you want to kind of keep your content updated, and it looks better for your audience if they can see that you are regularly posting stuff and maintaining your account. The other kind of last reason of why you maybe shouldn't do Instagram is if you are only going to post adverts constantly. This is kind of samey, and if you're on Instagram yourself, you'll see that it gets boring if you're following accounts that are only advertising products and services constantly and not having a conversation or posting anything else that's like a bit more interesting or educational or entertaining. So if you're only going to use it as a place to post advertisements, you're probably not going to grow your account very much, and people would probably get bored of your content. So I'm just going to quickly go over the difference between Instagram feed and Instagram stories in case people are completely new to this. So the Instagram feed is what you see here on this example. So it's your actual newsfeed of pieces of content that you've posted on your profile. So here you can post photos and videos, and these are the things that show up to your followers when they're scrolling through Instagram and on their own news feeds. So the Instagram feed is kind of like your showcase. It's where you're showing off your best work. And then there's Instagram stories. So Instagram stories are vertical photos of videos that last up to about 15 seconds and disappear 24 hours after posting. So it's very actually similar to Snapchat in how it's a kind of visual thing that disappears after a while, and they're not displayed in the feed. So they're actually displayed at the top of the app, and you can like kind of scroll through them and skip through people's posts. Okay, so now to the good stuff. What are my top Instagram tips? Okay, so firstly, what to post. So tip number 1 is post visually appealing content, such as short videos or image of recently completed works, things that are different and are going to be interesting for people. So for example, a garden makeover if you're a gardener, or kitchen fit outs, time-lapse videos of your work before and afters. All of this content is really interesting and shows your process. And obviously like different content, like this account is one from Australia, the tool dog, where a guy reviews tools and has his dog model them. This is just quite fun and entertaining content that is a bit different. So anything that you can put your own comedic spin on, go for it, because the more different it is, the more entertaining, the more people will be interested in following you, and you can really grow your audience that way. So another tip I've got, if you're going to do a kind of before and after for your Instagram, is to make sure that if you're showing your process, that you don't make the before photo or the during photos the main picture that's on the feed. You want to show either the before and after together, or the after, and then have what's called a carousel post, where you can actually post multiple pictures and people can swipe to see what came before. And the reason of that being is, if you imagine the feed as a whole, you want to make sure that when people land onto your account, they see really great images and videos and the stills of those, and not processed pictures that look, you know, like a dug up garden that's just like a hole in the ground. That's not that visually appealing. So here are some great examples from carpenters on Instagram. So this guy is called Aaron Thomas Aquinas, and he's a carpenter and posts some really, really visually aesthetic content. So you might think carpenter, like what can they really post if they're building a house or putting stuff together that's going to be visually appealing and people want to follow. So this first one here is actually a video, and he's literally just sawing this piece of wood, but this video lasted for about a minute and it was very relaxing to watch. And a big trend right now on social media are satisfying videos, where you post something that people can see the processes that are all happening, and it's like perfection, all in slow motion, and that kind of video is something that really relaxes people. So if you've got a craft where you're creating something and you can do a time lapse or show the video process of that, you'd be surprised at how many people actually sit and watch that. I personally love it too. So some other content from this guy is he's showing himself working on the roof, showing his like in action, and it's quite a visual shot. It's well placed. You can see his progress, and he's got a great caption about obviously the COVID-19 crisis at the moment and social distancing and how that's affecting work. So one thing I've obviously mentioned is the posts and the pictures and stuff and how Instagram is visual, but a caption is also very important at conveying your message and conveying your kind of brand and who you are as a person, that people can then know and trust. So you definitely want to use your caption well, and it can help to tell the story. His next post was this kind of like looking at inside of the rafters of the building. This is visually appealing as well because you can see how even all the wood is, and it just looks great, and it shows kind of a home renovation in progress. So this is just an example of how there's 3 very different styles of posts, all from the same carpenter, but are all very interesting to follow and get very high engagement. So lots of people commenting and engaging and liking his content. So our next tip is, same tip, next examples are some electricians. So this is electricians too. This is a time-lapse video, and he is very simply fitting a ceiling rose pendant. Just waiting for it to load. Excuse my internet connection. As I mentioned, I will send this along to you guys so you can have a look yourselves if these don't load. But essentially a time-lapse video is just showing very kind of like fast motion of something happening that you're working on, so you can show your progress really easily over a whole day's work and how you're actually doing that yourself and doing it to a high standard using a time-lapse video on Instagram. Unfortunately, I don't think that one's working. Another post that was quite interesting was these kind of old test instruments. So just having kind of different shots. So this is also online with like the tool dog that I showed you guys before, thinking of how you can create content that is applicable to your brand and your business and what you're doing, but still slightly different with a new take. So this is like looking at the historical way that testing was done. And then the last example is actually from someone in our group. So this is Ian from Eco Home Electrics, and this is a carousel post. So you can see that these are all images that are able to swipe, so you can see the progress. And this is one of Ian's fit outs that he did of a really gorgeous house, and it's showing all the different electrical items that were in the house. And all the light fittings and everything. And I thought this is really beautiful because he was able to showcase everything and have it in this visual format. So great work, Ian. So the next example are for plumbers. Here you can see that this is some really great pipe work. Now, I love this post because it's very visually appealing. It's just pipes and how they've had pipe clips to fit them around this corner, but it just looks fantastic. And you can see how well this person is and how attention to detail they are at creating this image and doing their work. So this is someone that I would trust with coming to the plumbing at my house, because I could see that they actually care for their work and they've got a really great style. Sorry there, skipped through. So this next post is another carousel post from a bathroom renovation. So showing the before and after in the same shot as I mentioned before. And unfortunately the video is not working again, but what it actually shows is a carousel of all the different photos and stages of this renovation and how it happened. So you can see the before, the after, the during, and you really get a kind of story of how this bathroom was fitted. And this is all from a plumber's Instagram, which I thought was wonderful. And then the next post is this really odd looking bath. And I don't know how I feel about this. I definitely don't think I'd want this in my house. But as you can see in the caption, as I mentioned before, is quite an important way of of using this section for written text, they simply have thumbs up or thumbs down, and that is to invite people to comment what they think about this. So he's probably posted this on purpose because it's a slightly controversial bath, but what that means is that people will then engage with the content and like it or not, or say that they hate it, and that actually helps for this person to build a connection with their community. So Instagram tip number 2, how often should you post? So I would say posting on your Instagram feed is something that you should do at least once a week. But the caveat is that quality is better than quantity. So you really don't want to be posting once a week if you don't have anything to post at all. You should maybe think about your strategy there, or think about how you can be more creative and actually create some more content for your Instagram. It's more important to have a really high quality photo than it is to have like lots and lots and lots of shots that aren't actually doing anything for your brand and your business image. So quality is better than quantity is something to definitely bear in mind, but trying to be active on Instagram with at least 1 post a week is recommended. I'd say the ideal is probably about 3 posts, or even like 5 if you do have the time to do that. So on your feed is where you should post your polished content. So this is like the end images, the stuff that you're showcasing, what you would put on a website, what you want your clients to see and want to engage with your brand with. So on stories, Instagram stories, this is where you could show it more frequently as a kind of behind the scenes view. So this is less polished. This is maybe you talking to camera about something that you've done that day, or you reviewing a tool, or like showing a piece of new like equipment that you've done, or a new style of working that you've done. So stories is definitely more conversational, it's a bit more casual, and you could probably get away with posting less on your feed if you posted more in your stories and maintain your account as very active. So Instagram tip number 3 is how to get more visibility. So this is a really hot tip of how to use different stickers in Instagram stories to get more people to see your content. So there's 2 here that you can add, location and hashtag, and both of these will help you to get more people to see your content. Location is something that you could add for like where you're based, so making sure that you add that every time. And if you didn't know this already, Instagram has location stories where your story can then get added to that locations, and more people who live there or are there at that time will be able to access and see your content. So adding this to your Instagram stories is a great way of increasing your visibility. And then hashtags are also very important, because just like on Twitter, and most social media now, hashtags are a way of categorizing what your post is about. So if you have a new bathroom renovation, for example, and you hashtag beautiful bathroom, then people who like to follow and look for inspiration from that hashtag will be able to find your content when you use it. You can also use other stickers like polls and questions, and these are ways of asking questions to your audience to get them to interact with your content. And the more people interact with your content, then the more Instagram will think that your account and the content that you're posting is something people are interested in, and the higher you'll appear to people on their own newsfeed. So Instagram tip number 4, how to get more followers. So this is like the age-old question that everyone wants to know, like, should I buy followers or should I not? I would not recommend buying followers, because this can actually harm your account in the long run. It can mean that your account isn't seen in the algorithm as much, and that you won't appear to your community if you do go ahead and buy followers. So I would not recommend to do that. What I do recommend is that you are social on Instagram. So that is actually engaging with people by commenting on their posts and responding to comments on your posts. So for example, if you are in bathrooms or you're an electrician, you might want to, look at home renovation hashtags and go through those hashtags and like and comment on the posts, as long as they're not your competitors. You can leave people a nice comment, and that is a way of actually getting people to be aware of your account and your business, and they might follow you in return and leave you nice comments as well. So another thing you can do is actually finding trades professionals that are not competitors but are in your field. So like if you're a painter, a renderer, that kind of thing, and having people in your network that you also engage with online. And this is a great way to kind of grow all of your guys' audiences together and have it as more of a community. So the more active that you look, the more that you'll be recommended as an account to follow. So doing this stuff will be really, really great at helping you to grow more followers on Instagram organically and without paying for likes or followers. So another tip that you can do to either grow your followers or just to kind of encourage engagement and have a good relationship with your potential customers is actually to reward them. So what I mean by this is that you can sometimes have limited time offers or a special sale for a service, or for example, giving out gift cards for people that book with you through Instagram. This kind of stuff encourages people to follow you, and it's also a way for you to give back and give them a reason to follow you as well, something that's going to reward them and make them feel good. So if you're a builder, you can maybe offer a free barbecue if you do a home renovation. Little things like that. You can get creative, and obviously you have to figure out how that's going to affect your bottom line. But there's lots of different ways that you can actually use giveaways and incentives to grow your followers and also to reward them. Number 6 is to use hashtags. So hashtags are what I mentioned earlier is like a way of tagging and categorizing your posts and how they appear. So this will help you to appear lots on people's feeds. And you can actually post 30 hashtags every time that you do a post. I recommend to actually do that in your first comment and not in your Instagram caption. And that's because it'll make your caption look less spammy, and you can actually focus on your genuine message in the caption and then have all the hashtags for the discovery in the first comment, which are then hidden by Instagram. So here's a few examples of kind of small business and construction hashtags that we've used on Invoice to Go. But you'd want to have a look into your particular niche and for your area to kind of discover what hashtags are best for you. If you do want some more advice on hashtags, I'd be happy to do a follow-up of this masterclass and give you a hashtag masterclass, or even create some content. So let me know by either commenting or writing in the group later on if you would like to have some more information on how to find good hashtags to use. But that's all from my presentation. So now it's just back to me. And if you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer anyone. So just drop them in the comment field, or if you're not watching this live and you're watching it later, you can still leave me a comment, because I'll check back and see if there's anything that you'd like any more help with Instagram. I know it's a bit of a minefield, and it can seem overwhelming, and like you don't always know what the best practice is, but there's lots of little tricks and ways that you can grow your audience and build your business on Instagram. So yeah, let me know. Not seeing anything coming in so far, so I'll just give it another minute. Do I have to be good at editing to post on Instagram? Is from Gabby. No, you don't have to be good at editing. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't need to have a special software. I would recommend having a good camera, but I don't mean like a professional camera. So you don't need to go and buy some really expensive Canon. You can actually just use your smartphone to take a good image, as long as you've got really great lighting. I think that's the key thing with taking good photos, is making sure the lighting is good. So if you've got good natural daylight, you're going to take some really great high quality images over in a dark room with a grainy old camera. So Gabby says again, should I not use edits or filters for my posts? It's up to you. You can use edits and filters if you want, but then what I would recommend is that you have that as a consistent theme for your Instagram, and make sure that you have that consistency and you're not like swapping and changing over. I think the simple brightening and contrast tools on Instagram work quite well at just improving your picture quality, but you definitely don't need to be a professional to use those. So Chris says, is your profile picture best to have a logo or a job picture? I would say your profile picture should be your logo. Make it instantly identifiable that that is your brand and your business. And your logo is then the first thing that people see. And then all the job pictures that you're doing are what you're posting in your feed. So when someone's discovering your account, they see your logo, they know exactly who you are from your profile picture. But then when they look through your account, they can see all the jobs that you've done and the high quality of your work. So another reason why that's important is that when you are commenting from your account on other people's stuff and appearing as your account on Instagram, it's your logo that shows up as the little icon next to your name. So it's a great way of getting your brand out there if you make your logo your profile picture. Happy to answer any more questions that you've got on Instagram, picture quality, followers. I've been working with Instagram for about 5 or 6 years now, and it's changed a lot over the time that I've been managing it. So it used to be chronological. When you posted stuff, you could simply post a picture and it would appear very easily. But now it's more important than ever to use hashtags as part of your Instagram strategy, to make sure that you get that visibility. And that's because the feed has changed to not chronological, to people who Instagram shows images for people based on what they've already liked and what they think their interests are. So by using hashtags, it's more likely that you're going to go into someone's feed from what they see. So I don't think I've got any more questions. So hopefully I just covered it all in the presentation and you feel confident to go ahead and start your Instagram or improve on your Instagram if you've already got one. But as I mentioned, if you do think of something or you've got a query, then just drop a comment on this video and I'll be more than happy to help you guys with it. So thanks so much for having me this morning. And yeah, I'll see you in the group. Bye now.